Hi guys, today another worldwide video in English language related to a particular object which I wanted to review since quite a long time, and it's an item strictly related to the cathodic, to the CRT TVs, but it's not actually a CRT TV. This is a scaler. Exactly, it's a Crestron scaler, HD scaler. This particular item and this particular scaler is old. This is the old version of the HD scaler. Actually, they are selling, I don't know if discontinued yet or not, the new one. Anyway, this is discontinued, of course, but the new model is the HD Scaler E or V, something like that, and it has it is different from this one. The new model I don't like very much. Now I'm going to tell you why. But this one, I think it's very complete and it's a great product. I wanted to review this and this scaler since quite a long time because I needed a scaler for pairing to match my LOEWE sets, which I have through the VGA, input. I wanted to feed them with a proper scaler to fit, of course, perfectly with the right resolution in the output. The problem is that we have a lot of different sources, which is very hard to pair exactly, especially because the new sources are not capable of outputting below 7020p, while this LOEWE set, as you know, can reach maximum and link at maximum the 480p resolution, which means 848 per 480p, which is the native resolution of these panels, because it's a widescreen panel, it's a widescreen tube. And so the problem is that a lot of resources you cannot directly input them into the LOEWE set, but you have to pass through something else like a scanner or whatever. Even the PC, actually, as you know, they are full of EDID stuff and whatever. So if you don't pair exactly with them, they start to, re-elaborate the resolution, scaling them and blah blah and whatever, and they don't feel the EDID information inside, and so they start to output some weird resolution that the LOEWE cannot, of course, take. So the main problem is that all of different sources, you have always to cry and to navigate through all these problems, while this kind of scaler just completely solve any kind of problem and issue you may have in the input feeding any kind of input resolution or sources into the LOEWE set. As I told you, Crestron is a very reliable and important brand for scalers, switchers, and in general audio-video units. This particular scaler is very well built, I have to say, very heavy, so you can immediately feel it's a premium stuff. It's a premium item. It's not like a Chinese something brand of Amazon, whatever. In the front we have the power LED, the RGB, and the HDMI in and out. This is of course, for the remote control, which is very important, and a USB for the computer and the reset button. Okay. On the back of the unit, we have the RGB HV in, the audio, of course, HDMI in and HDMI out and then of course for the plug in here for the main power supply, which I didn't have for this unit, and I bought a new one. I always suggest with this kind of item, which are well, quite expensive. I didn't spend very much for this because it was a very nice offer, but usually they are very expensive, so be careful. Just use a great replacement. If you don't have the original one, just buy something that can fit very well to this. This is a Meanwell adapter, a brand new one, a very good unit and a very good brand. So be careful to use always very nice part to fitting him. In general, I would say, but especially for this kind of stuff, because you can really risk to have some trouble for this, okay? And you can find a lot of this for like 10, 12, 13 bucks or something like that. This cost 32 euros, but believe me, it really worth it, okay? And so be careful to use high quality products. Okay, this is very important, the rear part, because as I told you, this is the old HD Crestron scaler. The new one called like HDE or V, something like that, they are different. They completely understand the marketing stuff, so they changed and split this scaler in two, actually. So they made they discontinued this, and they are start to producing scaler that split the signal. So you have one scaler just for the RGB input and HDMI out, of course, and another scaler, okay, which they sold and they sell, with basically only the HDMI input, so digital input and digital output, okay? This scaler is very nice, especially for this stuff. I used to find, and I wanted to find, because my usage is pretty important, and in a vast scale of sources, I needed something that could handle analog input and together digital input, okay? And this is the perfect one because it accepts RGB HV in. That means that this VGA accept, you can read on the manual, accept every kind of RGB input, not just the HV, but even the RGBS component, etc. So if you have any, and I will show you, if you buy any kind of adapter like component to VGA, RGB to VGA, S-video to VGA, composite to VGA, you can feed all of these sources in here and output at any resolution it can handle on the HDMI out, okay? Then, of course, you have the HDMI in. So you have both sources, analog and digital, and of course the digital out, which is perfect because for the out you can feed like directly on the HDMI, or if you have like myself a VGA input on the set, you can find easily a converter from HDMI to VGA, and you don't even need the external power plug because it handles perfectly the right voltage for the converter, okay, for the conversion from the HDMI to VGA. So it's perfect. I needed all of this because, of course, I wanted to plug, for example, I wanted to plug PS2, or I wanted to plug, Dreamcast in case, because as I will show you that this scaler can also handle on the RGB, especially can handle every kind of setting for the image, like the phase, the contrast, the brightness, the overscan, the underscan. You can change the offset, east offset, or the north south offset, so you can move the image on the left, on the right, at the bottom and above and everything. So I wanted to feed every kind of sources, and I try to feed every kind of sources, analog and digital. Of course, digital, it's very important to me because I wanted to feed the PS5 in it. Even you can handle, of course, a PC. Okay, so let's try this color on my LOEWE set. Very important is the remote control. Okay, so if you find something without the remote control, be very careful because you need it, absolutely, because in the front, on the front part of the scaler, you have basically nothing. So if you want to change all the aspect ratio and of course the menu, so you can change every kind of parameter. This is HDCP compliant, so it accepts HDCP signal, it accepts of course it's EDID and everything. Anyway, every kind of any kind of managing of settings in the menu of the scaler, you have to have the remote control, otherwise you can't do anything. Okay, you cannot switch from the HDMI to RGB input. You cannot do really anything, so be very careful. All right, guys, first thing first, I'm gonna show you the menu first of all, then we are going to see all the tests. The scaler is there on the right side of the TV. TV is already turned on in the VGA. The scaler is linked through a VGA, from a HDMI converter to a VGA, so HDMI to VGA and to the set. And I will test with the different sources. Usually I use mostly the VGA one, even with the converter, the little converter HDMI to VGA, because I prefer in general the VGA. The VGA has a more softer image, which I can increase it with a little scaler. I will show you, with a little video processor. I will show you what is it, but it's the Darby Darblet, which is an amazing little video scaler, video processor, which I can sharpening the image as much as I want. But for now, we're gonna see the menu. Okay, here you can see the signal. We can all do everything just with the remote control. Okay, there is no button on the scaler, so be careful to buy something with the remote control, otherwise you cannot control almost like anything. So here we have different presets. The most important thing is in the menu you can have analog. You will see analog input, digital input, output, and device info, and blah blah. This is the scaler with the latest firmware. If we go into the analog input, you can see there is such a complete scaler, such a widely number of options. You can see auto calibration, you can change the contrast, you can change the brightness, the horizontal position, okay, the vertical position, the phase, the fine phase, the colors. You can see the ADID, the overscan, signal, and everything. So it's really complete. You can have access at basically everything that, well, if in case your TV doesn't have, for example, the offset on the left as not the same amount of changing position on the right. You can do everything by the scaler. I will do everything by using the scaler, and I think it's very, very amazing. In the digital input, you can see you have less. You don't have the horizontal, vertical position, and blah blah. You have just the control contrast, brightness, and this, and of course it's HDCP support fully. And here we have the output. You can change the resolution. Okay, as you can see, now it's 848 per 480, which is the exactly resolution of this LOEWE set. That's why also I bought it. But there is a plethora of everything. Okay, like if you switch the switch of the resolution is practically instantaneously, and with the other you have other button I will show you for split the image and stretch the image and everything. Okay, so and you can scale till everything. Like you have plenty of opportunities because it's a scaler that outputs with all the PC resolution in mind, so you have really a wide plethora of those. There is underscan, there is the test pattern. This is a very, very nice stuff that you can use to to set your set, and really you have everything in here. As you can see, the horizontal ramp, the vertical one. You have really like everything you can imagine. And so for this stuff, it's very, 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 in my opinion, important, because it can of course it solves everything without the source. We don't have any source now in it. It's just linked output one, and so you can use without any kind of input in it. You can see, of course, the ADI. All right, sorry. And output color space. Really, it's such a complete thing. Okay. So you see and you watch this part of the video with all the inputs and output and resolution and and all the different options offered by this amazing little scaler. Now we are going to test the first source, and the first source will be the WE linked via component. I bought this little converter, which is a component to VGA converter. Actually, I bought from AliExpress like 48 or 50 cents, including shipping, which I was thinking like, okay, it doesn't work at all for sure, but I have to say I'm very surprised. It is working perfectly with such a crispy image. So if you want to link the WE, it's perfect. Okay, I assure you it's perfect. And you can see that with all the different adapters, you can link everything, because on the analog inputs, if you go on the source control, you can see there is auto, RGB, component, S-video, CVBS composite, let's say composite. And so you can link everything, okay, even the RGB. And it's very important because you can really link every kind of thing you want. If you want to link a Super Nintendo or Mega Drive and put in here, or in a monitor or whatever you want, you can link with an adapter from like component or RGB SCART female to VGA or S-video, and the signal will be processed from an interlaced signal to any kind of above 480p signal, so like even 1080p. Okay, it's very, very, very complete and it's amazing. So let's start the first the first test with the LOEWE.
Here we are, our LOEWE. Such a clean and sharp image. This is how it is linked directly to the scaler. So from the component to VGA through this little adapter, and then I'm using also for the audio the double jack, the double RCA from a single jack directly into the scaler, and then to the TV I use a single jack 3.5 linked to the converter from HDMI to VGA, which has of course a jack for the audio, and from there to the TV. Let's see some tests in here. Well, the image is such a crisp, it's incredible. As you can see, the scaler says that the input is 720 per 480 60 Hz, and now is outputting 848 per 480p with a PCM2 channel for the audio. So we are going directly in progressive, okay? When we are here, you can see that now the image is not the same, because actually you can also, of course, change, you know, the how big is the image through here. Anyway, this is very important because it's one of the main advantage of the scaler is that, as you can see, the image is not the same as before. I mean, I can tell you it's not the same because we are now in 240p. So we are going now not in a progressive signal, but with an interlaced signal. If we go to the information, you can see change analog input, always the same resolution, but 30 Hz. That means that this is a interlaced signal, and is not anymore a progressive signal. If we want to switch to a progressive signal, we have to switch through here, like 480p scaled. And as you can see, now it changed to 60 Hz, 720 per 480p. And of course, the image is much crisper. It's great, the image. But why I'm saying this is because it's very important. Because if you switch, or if the image switch, like there is PS4, PS2, sorry, PS4, PS1, PS2 with titles, but not just those titles that often switch through one resolution. Maybe the full motion video has a one resolution and the game is another resolution. A lot of scalers just make a lot of craps of that because they go black and then keep just trying to catch the right resolution and outputting the resolution, and everything is like, with a delay and with black and black screen between the switches. In here everything is completely with no delay at all. As you can see, it's switching, immediately switching. This is a 50 Hz. This is 60 Hz. This is 60 Hz for 480p, and it's always changes. What we see here, as you can see now, it's 720 per 576 25 Hz, which is a signal that actually this TV cannot reach without the usage of a scaler, because the 576p, the Q24 Media Plus chassis of the LOEWE cannot, unfortunately, be linked, because they get a black screen if you try to link with that kind of resolution. But in this case there is no problem, because the output is always the same. Every kind of thing you will put is always the same. And there is no delay at all. It's incredible, but there is no delay at all. And, you know, grid, as always, is perfect. But this is the TV, this is not the scaler. And it's perfect. You really don't have any kind of lag, actually. It's wow. You see, there is no lag at all. Okay, let's try a game now. All right, this is Sonic, which is of course not intended for this kind of TV, but in this case, with this color, you can really change everything. You know, like now it's display original one. You can say progressive, for example, directly. It's better to make the filter off. And you can change even the original aspect in 16. And now it is the right stuff, okay? Because it changes the aspect ratio. And you see, we are in 720, 60 Hz. That means it's directly progressive, a progressive signal. If we're going to change it in original, for example, it has been changed now and it's 30 Hz. So it's so useful, and believe me, you don't have to, you know, think at anything anymore. Okay, let's try now a GameCube, because this is not the right purpose, in my opinion, of this scaler, but of course it's important to see, because the signal, it's such a clean, it's like a RGB. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm the mostly thing that I'm astonished, it's that there is absolutely no lag, even though we are going through a double adapter from component to VGA and then from HDMI to VGA. So the signal is, you know, completely always changing from analog to digital, and everything is such incredible and smooth, and absolutely no flickering and no lag. Okay, we gotta find. Okay, we're going to try something like we can try, for example, F0 GX is the PAL version, but we are going now to make something like force progressive and force widescreen in here. Okay, so we are now going through directly a progressive signal and launch it. So you see, we are in 720, 60 Hz, progressive signal, scaled in 848. Well guys, it's stunning, it's really incredible. Okay, you can think everything of this stuff may be emulated by Dolphin, so you can go with anti-aliasing or whatever you want, okay, to make like a crisp image. And what I can say, it's incredible. It's really incredible. It's a 32 inches, so the image is amazing, of course, with such a large screen. Colors are great. The Veriton are crazy. Well, it's really great. Okay. Now I want to try the same, but not forcing the progressive. Of course, it output the same. The scaler thinks there is a signal, there is a good signal. Okay, 60 Hz, it's okay. But now, actually, as you can see, the image is 720 per 480, the source 30 Hz. So we are now in interlaced, as an interlaced signal, you know, the standard one of the console. The console actually thinks that you are like in component with a normal 50-60 hertz TV in 480 interlaced signal. Every other thing, you know, every other kind of aspect of the image is delivered by the scaler. So the console just output is the signal, and the scaler thinks about everything. And again, this is very, very, very important and very, very good, because if you change, you know, the resolution in game, or you want to make some, you know, trial and testing and blah blah, you don't have to, you know, think about anything, because you can switch just through all the signal, and the scaler just output always the same exactly signal. Okay, you have to think that if you change and you put something that the TV doesn't want, the TV starts to, you know, to not syncing and start to, you don't see anything on the screen, so it's a mess. Well, anyway, the result is very, very nice. With the other, you know, with the other stuff, with the other setting, it's better. It's not hugely better. It's better. It's not hugely, because the scaler does a great job. But of course, if you can provide a good signal from the start, it's better. So it's very similar, the results. But I have to be honest, on the progressive one, this is a game changer for this console, and for these also kind of you know, gaming experience, including the Dolphin in the emulation. Hey guys, now let's try the PS2. The PS2 is linked exactly as the same as the Wii. I'm using the component cable from the PS2 to the scaler, linked by this tiny adapter from the component to VGA. Sorry, there is no audio because I didn't plug the audio. Okay, so we have to choose widescreen, okay? And very important, we have to select the exit video like this. So component, okay? Of course, the component means not progressive, okay? So the PS2 outputs in component in 576, because of course we have a PAL version of the PS2. I'm located in Italy. 25 Hz, okay? So as you can see, the scaler is recognizing the PAL format 50 Hz. We are going to launch OpenLoader, some results with, for example, God of War. Okay, so we are going to load God of War. This is the USA version. So actually, if you see, it says 480p 30 Hz. So we have an interlaced signal in 30 Hz. We are going to put widescreen on, and then progressive scan, yes. So actually, we can see it's a progressive signal, 720, 480, 60 Hz. Such useful, this color, wow. And the image is great, is extremely sharp, extremely clean. And I really love it, really. Sorry about the audio. This is another way to use, of course, this color. So you can use via component through components with this amazing set and play actually this kind of game, which I think it's really marvelous, especially in this kind of
Sorry, I don't play it since like a long time. Sorry. I have to say there is no judder at all. The PS2 is very famous for being very judder. Okay, but in this case, wow, it's really clean, the image. Then it's very fluid. The difference between this and any kind of, you know, screen like LCD, OLED or whatsoever, it's huge, especially in this kind of games. It's huge. And I think I will finish again this game with this preset, with this color linked to this LOEWE, because it's really marvelous. Alright, second test is a test with the PC. The objective, the goal of this second test is to try and to play, this is my personal goal, to play all of the games that has been released since 2003, 4, 5 more or less, until like 2018, 2020, something like that, but mostly the Xbox 360 era, the PS3 era, and of course the emulation, even the Switch emulation or whatsoever. Okay, but I really wanted to have something that can drive perfectly the Xbox 360 and PS3 era, which the native games on them are basically 30 frame cap, all of them, and the results are not so good in terms of graphical settings. Nowadays we can have a PC like that. This is a low profile PC, a very small PC, which is usually used by office. This actually unit has been given to myself by my father, which was a lawyer, and he doesn't practice anymore. He doesn't work anymore as a lawyer, so he gave it to me for free, of course, and I just updated it with a A5 Haswell generation 4th gen, like 4460, if I remember correctly. Like I paid €9 or €10, something like that. And then I paired, of course, with an SSD hard drive, and I bought a new graphic card, because of course the standard graphic cards iGPU HD 4600 is not really perfect for games. And I decided to buy this RX 6400 by AMD to have enough power for all of the games I wanted to play, which I have to be sincere that I was very also surprised that a little teeny card like that, which consume 30, 40 or something like that watt TDP, can handle this amount of game, even the modern game, in such a great result, with such great results, paired with almost 10 years old CPU, and basically it cost me nothing except the graphic card, which I paid €140 brand new. Okay, as you can see, the PC has already started. It's very, very, very fast because of the SSD, and actually is paired with 8 GB of RAMs, but I will upgrade it to 16 GB because they are very, very cheap nowadays, like 20 or 22 euros. You can buy 2 8 GB of RAM. And the configuration is this one. As you can see on the photo, we have HDMI from the card, which arrived to the Derby Darblet processor video.
which is an incredible processor video processor that all of you has to have, because it's a little tiny box, that can handle perfectly the sharpness. You have different configuration of sharpness, but believe me, the results are incredible, especially in this kind of environment. And from the Derby doublet, it passes through it and it arrives to the scaler. I'm using the VGA port actually, but you can of course use the HDMI port. I'm using the VGA, so the converter from HDMI to VGA, because I prefer the VGA port to use overall. The image looks softer than the HDMI, but with the Derby doublet you can handle that and you can make it more crisp, but keeping, and you can keep the smoothness of the VGA port, which is for me unbelievable. It's the best connection ever made, and plus you have more control of with the scaler with the VGA port. And third, of course, you do have also another input that you can handle, like for PS5 or whatsoever. So connector HDMI to VGA through this little tiny connector and adapter, which works very, very, very good, I have to say. And then, of course, from HDMI out to the VGA on the LOEWE. Okay, I want to show you different eras of the games on the PC. For now, I do want to try 3 different games, which is the Half-Life 2, which is the update version. So let's try Half-Life 2 now. Okay, actually the Derby doublet is set to 60% pop style, so gaming style, and really I have to say it's amazing, because the image is so crisp but so soft in the meantime, and it's very hard to explain, but what I can say, it's really incredible. The image, actually we are in analog, as I said, and we can handle the horizontal position. Okay, the actually video preset are 720p actually, and not 1080, because I prefer this kind of preset with this. Of course, it's the same in 1080p. The frame are the same, like more than 250 frame per second. So there is no problem with that. But I prefer this rendition of this game for the Veriton and for everything. I just put 8xMSAA, and in the adrenaline part of the video, in the settings, I just put like to make better the setting of the game, so everything is maxed out. Well, actually, guys, the rendition is such incredible. Okay, of course we have VSync enabled, and it's extra smooth. Also, everything that you see wrote on the screen is extremely sharp. With all this anti-aliasing, you don't have any kind of juttering whatsoever, but everything is very, very clean. And experience is something that I really wanted on those days, but I couldn't do that because this is an ultra advanced idea of playing this kind of game, or gaming in general. But finally I can play again this title with everything maxed out, ultra smooth, with a vertical sync, and with such an incredible experience concerning
this related, of course, this incredible LOEWE set. Well, believe me guys, it's really, really amazing. What shines always is the color, is the softness of the image, but especially with the Derby Doublet, you can really see how much is sharp and clean, because it makes really sharp. It sharpens very much the image, and wow, wow. Look at the reflection on the floor. It really seems it is not a game of that era. It's more modern, and the mod makes really great stuff about it. And I'm very happy with the results. Of course, the audio is also amazing, but I will show you later. Okay, let's try another game from like another era. We can try the Resident Evil HD remaster, which I think was released in 2014. This is the remaster version of 2014 or something like that, if I remember correctly. If we go to option, we can see the video setting. This game I prefer, for example, in 1080p because it's a little bit smoother, the image, a little bit more cinematics, and but the quality overall, it's really astonishing. It really seems that you are in front of something or a portrait in 4K or something like that. And of course, with this kind of video card, VGA, we can handle everything like 1080p, 60 frames, 60 hertz, the most anti-aliasing you can handle, which is this one. Shadow quality, everything is in high. And let's try it.
Resident Evil. Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots.
The image is even sharper than Half-Life 2. It's very cinematic. It's incredible. I do think this is the real experience that everybody has to, do, has to be familiar with the Resident Evil franchise, related to the remaster, related to the first glorious episode of this amazing saga. The audio is absolutely incredible too. These cinematic are made in 30 FPS, so it's not 60. We're going to the main game.
There are only 3 STARS members left now.
As you can see, as long we are in the game, then the frame rate is 60 frames per second.
What is this place?
And
Not quite your
as long as I can say, the 60 frames per second is very enjoyable as a game. Has less idea of cinematic instead of 30 FPS, in my opinion.
Chris?
Anyway,
No.
the result is absolutely incredible. It's very, very, very sharp. I think this is the definitive experience of playing this game. Ultra smooth, ultra, like, it seems really like 4K. The image is so crisp and so clean, with no judder at all, no jaggies, no line, no aliasing. It is really, really, really wow. Wow, it's the only really... oh, sorry, I have to change the control because the alternate, I hate those.
I'm an old school gamer. Well, you cannot appreciate as I can see in real life, but believe me, the result is incredible. Is really incredible, and only the CRT can make this kind of result. You know, with the background very clean, but the probably the character even cleaner. With the idea of smoothness of the CRT, which is
I think you better take a look at this.
What is it?
which is incredible. Really, believe me, ultra smooth. The V-Sync, it's perfect for this kind of game
Jill,
too.
See if you can find any other.
Really
clues.
as butter.
I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
And finally, I can enjoy this game in the maximum splendor and shining of this series and related to this game. Finally, on a big screen CRT, 32 inches, with the best result really I ever seen of this game. Really I'm looking forward to finish this game. Wow. Okay, let's try the third one. The third one will be Doom Eternal. Of course, I chose like 3 games with the 3 different eras, because otherwise the video would be so long. After even now it's probably too long, but I do think all of you would like to see this kind of videos, so I try to be the more specific that I can. But the third one will be the more recent. All of the games in the middle, like I will play Alien Isolation, I will play Fear, I will play Dead Space 1, 2, 3, I will play everything, okay? But it's important that you see actually the different eras of the video games with this kind of configuration. Okay, now before watching the last part of the PC section video, I would like also to show you about this game, which is Alien Isolation. Of course, everything is maxed out. Everything is 1080p and everything is on ultra. It is 60 frames per second rock solid. As you can see, the scaler is going through 1080p 60 Hz to 480p 60 Hz. So it's now actually...
Hold up. Let me get the elevator.
Is actually downscaling perfectly.
Allow me.
And I have to say, there is no lag at all. And the result is absolutely incredible. The lights, the image
Hit the button.
is again absolutely great. It's been a long time I wanted to play this game in on a CRT.
Right now.
And especially with the PC version, because it's the only one that can reach 60 Hz. It's a unlocked frame rate, so it can reach 60 Hz with no problem whatsoever. All ultra setting with this configuration. While, for example, even the PS5 version cannot reach that because they didn't patch it.
What are you saying? A psycho? A person?
And really, the result is beyond what I think. Beyond, sorry, what I was thinking. Because it's this kind of games with low lights, with this kind of
shadows and dark side of part of the image are absolutely gorgeous on a CRT. Much better, I think, than any kind of, result of any other
Shit. We need to move.
Get
down.
Well,
Bullshit, man. Should be looking for a way
any
off.
other screen.
Are you
So,
crazy? There's no way off. At least we're safe down.
all right. After this alien isolation, which I will continue to play now, I'm going to show you Shenmue 3 as recent game. Shenmue, especially because I do want to play on a CRT in memory of the old times. And here we are, guys, with Shenmue 3. As you can see on the upper right part of the image, I chose to use a 720p this time instead of the 1080p resolution, just because I prefer this game is incredibly clear in text, and overall the image is super sharp and super clean, so there is really no need to put 1080p resolution. But instead I used, and I'm using, the super resolution of Radeon to upscale the signal to 1080p, so we can have a even cleaner image with the same amount of sharpening or sharpness related to the HUD. Okay, so I think it's the best setting overall. And I must say, this game is really incredibly clean, incredibly sharp. And the presets are very high. Okay. So everything is maxed out. 720p upscaled by the super resolution of the AMD Radeon to 1080p. I think the only way for me to play this game. I grew up with the Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 with on a cathodic. Of course, I used to play, and I think it's a marvelous graphic. It has a marvelous graphic. This game, very sharp, very clean, and very fluid, smoothly. I don't have any stutter at all. I don't have any frame rate issue at all. Even at 1080p, I tried also the native 1080p, very high setting, and it's very smooth. It's always 60 frames per second. You can't really appreciate, of course, the image through the video, but I assure you it's really something. It's really something. I will do another video about this card playing in 4K or 1440p on a OLED with some games, some of course older games like 2010, 2014, 2018 games, because I really think this card it's incredible card for the price and for the TDP usage, because it allows you to play even in almost 4K with ultra setting some older games with really incredible amount of frame, like always above 60 frames per second. It's really a tiny card, little card that consumes really very, very poorly.
put in a ultra small case, and I think it's incredible even for the price, because 140 euros. I think it's a very fairly price. Wow, look at that. Really unbelievable. 60 frames per second locked. And again, guys, I remind you that this card actually is fitted to a PCI 2.0 slot, so not even a PCI 3.0. So well, in some years you can upgrade in PCI 4, but it's crazy that this card with a PCI 2.0 can really perform this far and this good. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Shenmue 3. Okay, I'm going now to show you the last part of the video, which is this. This color linked to a PS5. Okay, here we are. If we go to the system, we have 720p. Of course, we can use, and if we have 720p, as you can see, the digital input is 720p to 480. If we go to 1080i, no problem. Okay, 30 Hertz. And if we go in 1080p, again, no problem. From 60 Hz 1080p. I prefer in general the 720p, but well, you can choose. Let's try, and even this, it's really crazy, beautiful. Huh? It's very particular and very, okay, it's an exercise of style to play PS5 on here, but especially I think for the older games like Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, or this kind of game, it is better to play in here. But even these kind of games are, wow, incredible, really incredible, and show you again another time what these TVs, the cathodic one, the last cathodic one, can reach, and you can imagine if they develop, if they would have been developed more, the cathodic technology, how can actually we could reach. It's really super clean. It's a 4K resolution with the idea always of smoothness of the CRT. There is no judder. It's ultra sharp. Very bright and very contrast. By the way, this game, people told me that it's a very nice game, so it is worth it to play it.
you can of course output to any kind of resolution you want. I will also will do a test with the scaler with a VGA monitor of PC, so we can also see how it performs, like for example from the PS5. If you want to link it to not a level like that, to downscale the signal, but to downscale in a different way, like downscale at 1080p 4:3 resolution, or any kind of resolution, native resolution of of a VGA monitor PC. You have plenty of option in here, like for example 16 per 1200, but you have plenty of resolution, okay? And if you scale with that kind of resolution, it also outputs the right resolution in 4:30, for example, okay? Let's try, for example, 640 per 48. You can zoom the image, or it can be restretched. Very, very, very particular. But you can see from 720 to 48. Okay, guys, the video has finished. It's very long, but I hope you enjoyed it. I think in the network there is no, in internet there is no kind of test and review in depth like this one. So I hope you enjoy and you appreciate it, and thank you so much.